Hello ladies and gentlemen, Big Daddy Top Hat here. It has become very clear very quickly that you wonderful people have been finding enjoyment from my biopic style videos covering various characters from the Street Fighter universe. So in spirit of what appears to be the in thing on here, today we are going to be looking at the story of a character from another franchise that has proven to have an audience on here as well, as we look at the history of the first lady of beat 'em ups herself, Blaze Bloody Fielding. Streets of Rage is arguably the most popular beat 'em up franchise of all time, and nearly 30 years removed from the release of the original title, the brand is still a household name in gaming, even though it would take 26 years between the release of Streets of Rage 3 and 4. These are games that will always remain beloved in the hearts of those who played them. In this extended version of an episode that was originally a Patreon exclusive 6 months ago, we are going to look at the life and times of Blaze Fielding, an unforgettable female heroine who is loved by all, created years before the likes of Lara Croft in video games, and the plethora of female leads across Disney's comic book and sci-fi universes. Some in the past, for internet points, have tried to claim that female characters in gaming were primarily used as just damsels in distress. Blaze Fielding is bona fide proof that this simply is not true. So let us go back and appreciate one of the toughest female leads that video games has ever produced, as we look back at the entire career and history of one of Sega's greatest women. This is the amazing story of Blaze Fielding. But first, a word from me. If you have been finding enjoyment from these video game character retrospectives I've been putting out, I think there is a strong possibility that you will enjoy my professional wrestling character retrospectives I've been putting out as well. The two most recent videos cover the Vampire Warrior Gangrel and the bizarre one known as Goldust, and both of these should be right up your street. So therefore, it would really help me out if you subscribe to my new channel, Top Hat Wrestling Man, and try checking out the content on offer over there. A link to the channel will be in the description via a pinned comment, so why not after this video check it out. Help me reach 2,000 subscribers on my new baby channel. Yeah! At the birth of the Streets of Rage franchise back in 1991, Blaze would make her debut as one of the 3 main playable protagonists within the series' original game, and since that fateful day has been a franchise mainstay ever since, managing to keep up appearances at the same rate as only Axel. Not only is she a playable female character, but according to the game's story, she is the leader of the original group of 3. The game's plot is simple and starts off after the individuals quit the city's corrupt police force in order to settle the score against a syndicate leader known as Mr. X, who now controls the city, including the actual police force itself. The 21-year-old Blaze Fielding, now leading her trio of vigilantes, readily puts her life on the line to bring an end to Mr. X's wrongdoings. As someone who is both an expert in judo and someone who dances lambada in her spare time, Blaze is a threat to be reckoned with. Pair this with her strong sense of justice, the very reason she joined the police force, Blaze is basically Mr. X's worst nightmare. Since her very first appearance in the series, she has been depicted as a physically attractive woman with blue eyes and long brown hair, thus meaning her physical beauty is just as striking as her capabilities in combat. In her maiden 1991 appearance, she first surfaced wearing a red bra, a red leather jacket, black fingerless gloves, a red skirt with a black belt, a red headband and red boots. No one can forget this character's memorable look, which is arguably now up there with Hulk Hogan's handlebar moustache and bandana combo. She has become an icon. In the first Streets of Rage game, Blaze was popular to play as, because whilst the weakest of the 3 due to her much smaller stature, her judo skills still allowed her to perform the greatest of throws. Her athletic abilities also allowed her to perform other impressive feats early on, such as being able to somersault. Throughout the franchise's history, her fighting style consists of powerful judo throws combined with gymnastic moves and efficient jump attacks. She also uses powerful kicks and knee attacks, punches, uppercuts, and can also suplex her enemies when behind them, dealing massive damage. Speaking of her abilities, in her original appearance, she would perform chops in combat, but by the time Streets of Rage 2 came around, she would change her strategy, beginning to use closed fists. After defeating Mr. X in the first Streets of Rage game, in the franchise's plot, Blaze would get a few years of peace. In between games, she would move out of the city and begin to focus more on her passion for dance, beginning a new career as a dance instructor. This new life though comes grinding to a halt when she gets a call from Adam's kid brother, Skate, informing her that Adam has been kidnapped by Mr. X in order to lure Axel and Blaze so that he can get his revenge. Axel and Blaze, along with Skate and professional wrestler Max, take the bait and set out to rescue Adam. Speaking of this plot featured in the second game, this further disproves the narrative that females were no more than damsel in distress fodder until the likes of Anita Sarkeesian and co came along. Not only was Blaze not a maiden in distress, she was the leader of a group on a mission to save a previously playable male character. Gaming has always been diverse, no matter what modern day revisionists may try and tell you. After proving popular in the first game, Blaze would return more powerful than ever, with even better stats than the previous title, making her an even more well-rounded threat. She even gained some new fighting techniques too, which I guess she may have developed while doing all of that dancing. Amongst her new attacks, Blaze could now project a powerful short-range burst of energy, which gets stronger the closer the enemies are to her attacks. As you can probably tell, this move was inspired by Street Fighter II's Chun-Li, another iconic heroine of the early 90s. She can also now perform a variety of other new moves too, making her more dangerous than ever. Blaze would not only be changed with regards to her ability in combat, but the developers would also choose to make Blaze even sexier this time around, with the drastically improved graphics in Streets of Rage 2 depicting her wearing stockings and suspenders, which are revealed when performing certain moves. As with all games from the original trilogy, specific animations will allow for a brief peek at Blaze's thong, with these frames obviously being even clearer this second time around. Now for Blaze, the third entry in the series gets a little weird, as the Japanese and the West would get two completely different stories with the game, along with two varying designs for Blaze's sprite animations too. In the version known as Bare Knuckle 3, the version the Japanese got, Blaze along with Axel would actually both choose to rejoin the police force between the events of this game and Streets of Rage 2. They would both lead individual cases, but would soon be revealed to be interconnected. To put it simply, these cases were a bombing and a kidnapping, which could lead to a war between nations. So joined once again by Skate, and this time a mysterious ex-researcher named Dr. Zan, they set off to save the city. When it comes to the Western story from Streets of Rage 3, Sega of America felt that the story was not suitable for a young audience, so the game would get a different story. In this version, rather than rejoining the police, Blaze became a private detective and was simply contacted by Dr. Zan, revealing to her that this research suggests that Axel would be the next victim of the Syndicate's evil schemes. So once she warns Axel of a danger, the formidable four fighters, who are also playable in Bare Knuckle 3, set off to stop the Syndicate once more. An additional character trait that was only revealed to Japanese players was that apparently Blaze cannot stand perverts. Basically, throughout the game, she often reminds male opponents to stay focused on the fight, and not on her body. She also seems to be somewhat proud and doesn't like to lose. In the Western version of this game, for some reason they gave Blaze a palette swap, switching out her iconic red outfit to an all-white outfit. But across both versions of the game, her sense of style remains largely the same as before, although her fighting stance does seem to have changed. In this game, Blaze also has some additional physical abilities in that she can run, something only Skate could do in previous entries, and she can now also perform blitz attacks, special moves that can be performed with a rechargeable meter. Obviously, past this point, we would go 26 years without a new Streets of Rage game. However, the events of Streets of Rage 4 would occur story-wise just 10 years after the conclusion of Streets of Rage 3. In this new era, the city has fallen under control of a syndicate once again, which is later revealed to be run by the children of Mr. X. As for Blaze, the plot of the game seems to follow on from Bare Knuckle 3, rather than Streets of Rage 3, and between the events of the games, she has been expelled from the police force, apparently due to having anger management issues, which she refused to take accountability for, eventually resulting in her punching the police commissioner in the face. This resulted in her returning to her other role as a dance instructor. Despite a more quiet life, she would still keep an ear out with regards to what was going on, so would return to vigilante action once she learned about the rise of a new syndicate. Her thirst for justice continued into the new decade. With Streets of Rage 4, the old school pixel art in this game is mostly gone, as it makes way for a new modern style. Blaze pretty much retains her traditional look as an attractive female garbed in red leather. Her classic red boots and red leather skirt make a return, however she now dons a black leather jacket too, which I guess was added to simply give her something new. Overall though, her modern French recreation is fairly accurate to the original Japanese source material. Combat wise, in her new adventure, like the other characters in the game, Blaze now has a unique star move, which can be performed by literally collecting stars in each level. Further to this, a new combo system is introduced, along with the ability to juggle opponents against walls and other players, allowing Blaze and co to earn extra points by stringing together long combos without getting hit. As you will know, or can probably even guess regardless of if you have played the game or not, Blaze and company are successful in defeating the Syndicate once more. But I guess when it comes to Streets of Rage, it's more about the journey than necessarily the ending. Today we all cross our fingers and hope and pray that we one day get to see Blaze jump into action to take on the Syndicate once more in a Streets of Rage 5. But at least we have got Streets of Rage 4 DLC confirmed to be on its way, writing another chapter in Blaze's historic career. Only time will really tell what is next for our red leather-clad heroine past that point. But one thing though is certainly clear from all of this. The franchise and its games are even more memorable thanks to Blaze's striking design, abilities in combat, and the fact that all round in general, she is simply fun to play as. Holding these thoughts, it becomes clear pretty quickly that the sky is still the limits for the beat 'em up beauty, with more greatness at some point sure to follow. But for now, we can go back and enjoy her appearances in all 4 of the amazing Streets of Rage games. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the amazing story of Blaze Fielding. Let me know in the comment section if you would like me to cover the history of further Streets of Rage characters, and if so, which one would you like me to look at next? Since biopics are proving popular on here at present, this is a remastered version of a video I made for my Patreon backers 6 months ago. But I have plenty of other content in my Patreon exclusive library that may never make it over to the main channel, simply due to it being too niche. But if you like niche content, you can access this perk amongst other benefits by backing the channel over on Patreon, and it helps me out a lot too. It would also really help me out if you subscribe to my new wrestling channel where I've already uploaded 7 biopic style videos over there. Please check out my pinned comment on this video if you want to see the exciting new show I have on offer over on the Top Hat Wrestling Man channel. Please, please, please give it a chance. You do not even need to watch wrestling to appreciate these characters' absurdities. I'm also on Twitch most Fridays, Saturdays and Tuesday nights if anyone wants to come say hello to me there. To close, I would like to give additional thank yous to this channel's Patreon backers who help fund content and allow me to work full time on such content like you are watching right now. So special shout outs go out to Sebastian Velez, A Murder of Crows, Carl Johnson, Hero Paulo Lopez, Nostalgia Collector, Ben Harradine, Corey I. Marsh Sr., Capcom vs SNK, BXL Gotham, Rowan Dinched, Evan Balder, Philip Namph, Azor Arkai, Keith Ferguson, Dropkin Varela, Michael Calix, Ego, Jordan Durant, Angel Light 85, Ian Boyle, Nick Daniels, Princess Zana, Daniel Daly, Computer Man, House of Ted, Gary Pinkett, ECU Professor, Kid Anime, Justin Wang, Aaron McNamara, Hermes Gonzalez, Instant Gratification, Monkey Man Shovel, James Bishop, JB, Michael Hall, Wesley Sanghi, Fellatio, Langston Miller, Noob, Brian Barry, Sarah Powell, Flaming Renee, Marvin Aaron Liga, Chris Cool, TOG Driver, Adrian Hannington, Bernard NG, Richard Stu Stewart, Dan Van Damme, Louis Viant, John Bates, David Bowl, Chris Fisk, Mike Bruno, Rick67, Antonio Rodriguez, Greg Jenkins, Retroverse.com, Casey Wright, Since Spaces, Zai, Andrew Bazansky, Alex Summers and Gunther Hendricks. I would like to thank you all very, very much for what you do. Much appreciated. Cheers!